class. So you see the smuggler gets to be a little bit of a smart aleck. The Jedi's going to be a little bit more righteous with it. Regardless, Boris is not terribly impressed.
He's not having it.
Yeah, he's not actually going to surrender and come alongside quietly. And what he actually has is a very, very good security system we're going to get to take a look at. It looks like Smuggler's winning all the roles today.
Let's face it, smugglers are some of the coolest dudes in Star Wars, right?
Exactly. And they get some of the very coolest lines. If you want to be funny, if you want to be charismatic, if you want to have the ridiculous abilities to try to flirt with everybody, boom, okay, so he's turning on the security here. Whoa, all those generators created a massive force field around him. Said, you can't fight me. Now he's going to bring in a ton of guys to try to fight them down. So what you actually have to do is those generators, well, one, we got a bunch of guys defending first, so we're going to take out his personal guard. And you're going to see the groups getting to work together. One of the things people who haven't seen the game for a while, you'll notice they're fighting. The entire GUI has been redone. So the original UI we had for the game was not terribly popular with fans. We learned that MMO players do not like to give up even 1 pixel of their space.
Right.
And they didn't like the sort of classic fantasy RPG feel of it. So we did a total revision of it, made all the stuff they wanted up front and easy to get to, and took out every single piece of art or graphics that was possibly blocking the screen. This one's been much more popular.
Excellent.
So what they're trying to do is trying to fight through some of these guys, and everyone's staying together pretty well. And, one last guy. And then they're going to go and they need to find a way to take out these generators. So they've got a little bit of a puzzle thing when you come into the throne room. So, one last guy. Healer's going to heal up everybody. Alright, and then we're out. So they're going to go after that one first. Now the nice thing is, they've got all their weapons stockpiled in this area. So there are some nice weapons right next to that generator that if they can get through these guys and fight, they can probably take out the generator itself. So you see the Force Leap there, the Jedi Knight goes flying in. He's got a bunch of different abilities. The Smuggler actually has her portable cover, which you saw her set up there. So if you don't have a box or something to hide behind, you can actually set up your own. It doesn't last as long, and it can take damage and sort of get knocked out, but it's a good short one because you've got a whole brace of abilities that actually only work during cover. So they got one more person. Oh, no, we got one last fight holding out. All right. So the Smuggler's going to go try to grab some armament. Meanwhile, you can take a look at just how big enough that generator is.
That's huge.
Yeah, this whole place, and see, you can see there's no way to jump up there. So what we're actually going to do is, she has now got a shoulder-mounted rocket. Excellent. There we go.
Oh, wow.
So you go through there, you take out 3 more of those, you fight your way through the area, and then you take on the boss itself.
Nice.
And so we're not going to show through the whole thing because it'd take a while. But then even the fight with Boris Olgo is multi-stage. He's got a bunch of different tricks you can do, etc. And then one of the big important things for here is this is all, again, it's not a flashpoint. This is something you can come do with your friends, or you could have come and done yourself. If you'd done it yourself, it would have been a very different difficulty scale, obviously. We bump it up to say, hey, you're with a group. We know you're going to want to do some big, cool stuff. So we raise the difficulty level of the whole area.
Now we see 4 guys run along here. How many people in that group can all go together? Is it the 4?
It's 4.
It is
so it is a 4-group maximum, and the nice thing is that includes companion characters. So a companion character isn't quite as powerful as a normal character just because obviously the AI, they don't have the full range of abilities. But you can go if you have you and a friend, you both pull out your companion characters, now you've got a 4-person group.
I gotcha.
Which allows you to actually, you can take on some 4-man stuff a little bit with the 2, it might just be, or you can do 3 and 1, etc. It allows you to get groups together faster and have a little bit more flexibility in what you do.
That's awesome. It sounds like an incredibly awesome thing that you guys are trying to do, but also very difficult, which is kind of play to the traditional RPG crowd, but also recognizing the folks that have their massively multiplayer online RPGs and kind of like them the way they are. So it's kind of like building the stuff that people like from the past and mixing the new together and having them kind of be okay with everything the way it is, correct?
Well, one of the things that was really interesting to us at the beginning is the traditional RPG crowd, right? BioWare games all come from the pen and paper background. And the pen and paper background was all about your friends.
Right.
The most startling thing when we started playing computer role-playing games, for those of us who are old enough to remember that, is they were single-player. And that's never what you played when you played role-playing games.
Sure.
So for us, it was a very natural evolution. And although the limitations of both the single-player genre and the MMO genre, the single-player genre, which had no friends, and the MMO genre, which didn't really have like traditional storytelling, those limitations had sort of become genre expectations.
Right.
So it took people a little bit to understand where it was going to come together. And really all we did is took it all the way back to the roots of what made good role-playing games.
That's awesome. That does not sound a place that is bad to go to by any means. Do you mind if I throw a couple audience questions at you before we let you go?
Absolutely.
All right, so let's see. We are looking. Some of the folks want to know, is there more to see of this game on the show floor? Should we go over to the booth and check it out?
Absolutely. So what we wanted to do this time, because this is the first time we've been on the show floor, is we actually wanted to do two completely different things. So for the press or behind closed doors, they're seeing this stuff, they're seeing some other stuff. Anybody who wants to come on the show floor, there's two different things they can do. They can either go to Tatooine, which is near the end of Chapter 1. It's pretty high end. They can get their own personal speeder. They can run around Tatooine. They can do anything they want, just freeform gameplay. Or they can actually go to the Origin Worlds and do the exact same thing and just start from the beginning of the game and just play.
That's awesome. That's super awesome. All right, so I've got some folks in here that are asking some questions. I guess, so what's the release date for, do you guys have a release date?
We are still saying 2011 and not saying anything else.
That was from the TU Kill. It's a Mythology 123. They want to know subscription price. You guys talking any
We haven't talked anything about pricing at all in any direction. Guku1213, awesome names by the way. They want to know, can you talk more about the mounts? Any specific types or anything else? Yeah, absolutely. So what we started with, for ship, we're really going mechanical. As much as, when we were trying to figure out like the Dubox and the Tauntauns and all that stuff are cool and we want to do them, but obviously, you're not going to see them running around in the cities, you're not going to see them. So we started with the cool mechanical ones because we wanted to do a big variety. So they're not faction specific, but they lean towards one faction or the other, but it is possible if you really work hard to get the other faction stuff. And they're basically like different versions of stand-up speeders. We use the speeder bikes and things, the traditional ones for taxis, and then we needed to make something a little bit more compact so you weren't going to take up so much room if everybody was running around with them everywhere. So they're kind of a cross between cool speeder bike, swoop bikes, and a little bit of Segway thrown in there.
That sounds pretty awesome. It sounds like you got a lot of different variety there. There's a couple. I can tell you. I can answer this question myself. The last ride. Yes, there will be updates. There's a ton of stuff that's coming through. I guess they said past release. I mean, some of the questions you're asking about. And all right, some of them have some past release. Do you guys already know with what you're planning for the release of the official game and everything? Are you guys already planning any updates and stuff? And I know you got the game,
Right. I mean, obviously, right now for PR and press and that stuff, we're doing that. But as the lead writer, my job is to know if this game goes, from the day one. If this game goes on for 10 years, where is the story going?
Right.
We've had the big picture mapped out for a very long time, and now we're getting to start to color in some of it. It's really cool.
That's super cool. Right on. Well, thank you so much for coming by.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us.
There you have it right there. Star Wars: The Old Republic, one of the biggest games here at E3 2011. And thank you again for bringing it by. I really do appreciate it. We will get out to your guys' booth by all means, and hopefully check out some of the Tatooine and some of the other stuff.
Tatooine.
Excellent. We're right on. E3 2011 will continue here on the GameSpot stage momentarily. When we come back, I believe we're going to have some Uncharted 3, so live demo with that. Check that out in just a bit. Homer, take it away.